Are you gonna unmute us?
Yeah, I will do that. Okay, so I'm starting the recording. Let's see what's happening. Okay, so I'm going to put people on mute, but you're allowed to unmute yourself if you need something.
Okay.
Okay. All right, we will get started. So, welcome to your Tuesday morning yoga class. We're going to get started today by lying on our backs in Shavasana. So spread out on your mat, take up space. Once you're on your back, you can just gently wiggle your hips, lift your hips up a little bit, and settle your lower back onto the mat. If you like, you could have your feet quite far apart and planted on the mat and rest your knees against each other, coming into a more restorative Shavasana. Your arms are relaxed out by your side, or maybe you feel like just having them on your belly, whatever makes you feel comfortable. And once you're on your mat and you're spread out, just take a few moments to remind yourself why you're here today. To make time for yourself, to care for yourself. Allow yourself to stop thinking about what else is going on in your life. You have time to deal with that later. But for right now, you're in this moment, paying attention to the needs of your body and the needs of your spirit. You can take a couple of nice deep breaths. Sigh it out really big. Take a couple of these really big, exaggerated breaths. One more time. Feel all the tension leaving your body. Each exhale just lets you get a little softer. Take a moment to just scan your body and notice how it's feeling. Starting at the tips of your toes. Maybe you'd like to wiggle them. Just check in with how the toes are feeling. Moving up the feet. Noticing any cramping or achiness in your feet. Getting into the ankles. Perhaps turning your feet back and forth a few times and getting into that ankle joint. Up the shins to the knees. You're just slightly flexing and releasing the knees. Over the thighs into the hips. Perhaps you just gently wiggle your hips back and forth a couple of times. Noticing the length of your spine, resting on the mat. Noticing your breath and how it inflates your rib cage, inflates the belly just a little, and then how it sinks just a little as you exhale. Traveling up to the shoulders, making sure they're down away from your ears. Your arms are long and rested on the mat. Maybe you'd like to bend at the elbows, release again. Take a couple of turns of the wrists. And then make a fist with your fingers, squeeze it tight, and then release. Maybe you want to do that a couple of times. Release. And then wiggle your fingers, let it go. Notice how your throat is feeling. Maybe swallow. See if you can release any tension there. Notice your jaw. If it's clenched shut, you can separate the biting surfaces of your teeth, or even open and close the jaw a few times. Let your face become completely relaxed, expressionless. There's so many muscles in the face, but right now they aren't doing any work. Maybe you can even notice the crown of your head, feeling its warmth. Noticing any sensation created by your hair. Once you've checked in with your body, begin to cultivate your practice breath. In through the nose, nice and slow. Hold it for a moment at the top. Exhale through the nose. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Find your own pace that works for you. And let the breath begin to flow. As you exhale, maybe you even make a little hissing sound at the back of your throat. And dry breathing. Once you've established your breath, you can begin to take some small movements. So maybe wiggling fingers and toes, pointing and flexing the feet, and then grow those movements a little. So maybe you want to stretch long arms up overhead. And then if you're stretched it long, you can bring your hands in. I want you to take a hold of your knees, hug your knees up towards your chest. Get small, like a little acorn. Maybe even tuck your head up so it's coming up toward your knees. Squeeze it in. And then release. Legs can go long again. Arms can sprawl out. Take a nice relaxing breath. And slowly roll over onto your right side. And bring yourself up to a seated position. So as you come up to your seat, your choice, you could sit in a comfortable cross-legged position, or if you prefer, you could have your legs relaxed in front of you. Whatever works best for you. Once you're seated, sit yourself up as straight as you can. So right from the base of the spine, the shoulders are broad, feeling the crown of your head extending upwards. Take a nice deep inhale. Exhale, lower your chin to your chest. Inhale, come through center. Looking up, maybe just a little, or maybe you've got a bit more range. You can look up to the ceiling. Exhale, bring the head through center, down to the chest. And coming back up. Exhale through center, chin to the chest. Inhale, slowly roll it up. Moochie, go away now. Sorry, that's my cat. Bring your head back to center. Again, lower your chin down to your chest. And then slowly begin to take head circles, whichever direction you prefer. Really going slow, paying attention to how that feels in your neck. Pausing anywhere where you might be feeling some stiffness.
Rebecca's cat's helping.
Yeah, my cat is definitely helping. He's my co-instructor. And when that side's feeling good, you can reverse the motion. Slowly rotating your head the other way. Again, paying attention to any areas that might need a little extra care. Bring your head back to center. We'll start with the left hand. Bring your left fingertips down to the mat. Walk them out to the left side. Reach the right arm up and over. Stretching through the side body, getting really long. The right side of your rib cage is really open. Deep breaths. If you like, you could walk that arm out even further and maybe come down on the forearm. Not necessary, but it's available to you if you like. Yes, Lucci? And come back up through center. And place the right fingertips on the mat. Left arm goes up. Walk the fingertips out. Stretch. Open your rib cage. Get long through the upper arm. Fingertips are energetic. Breathing deep. Again, if you like, you can walk that hand out even further and maybe come onto the forearm. Wherever you are, just thinking about deep breathing. You can slowly walk the right fingertips back in and relax the arms down for a moment. Shrug your shoulders up to your ears. Push them down and away. Again, shrug them up, down and away, up, down and away. Reverse the motion. So from down and away, come up, roll the shoulders forward. Nice and slow, going with your breath. And shoulders can just relax again. You can bring your right hand to your left knee, your left hand behind you. Inhale to get tall. Exhale, twist towards the left. Try not to lead with your head. Let your head and neck be relaxed. Feel this twist coming right from the base of your spine. And with each exhale, see if you can melt into that twist a little bit more. You release, come back through center. Left hand comes to right knee, right hand behind. Again, think about getting tall. Exhale into that twist. Remembering to keep the head and neck relaxed. Turning from the base of the spine. With each exhale, melting into it a little bit deeper. One more breath. As you exhale, come back to center. Arms can come out into a T shape. We'll bring the left arm underneath the right in front of us. And then your choice, you can either keep wrapping for eagle arms, or you could bring your hands onto your shoulders. In either position, push the elbows up, duck your head forward and down, really round in the upper spine, push back between your shoulder blades. Breathe into the space between your shoulder blades. And release. Bring the arms out into a T again. And this time the right arm will come under the left. Again, wrapping all the way for eagle arms, or hands come to shoulders. Push the elbows up, duck the head forward and down, round in the upper spine, really pushing back between the shoulder blades. And exhale, release. Arms can come out wide. We're going to take our arms behind us. Join your hands at the back. If you like, you could intertwine your fingers so they're like this, but behind you. Sitting up nice and straight. If you can pull those arms a little bit straighter, they don't have to be completely straight. Pull them a little bit straighter. And then gently bow forward. Allow your hands to come up off of your lower back. Just getting a little stretch in the shoulders here. Even opening the chest. And then come back up to sit. Shake out the hands and arms, just to release that. You can bring your legs, if they aren't already, just relax your legs in front of you. Looking down at your feet, I want you to peel your feet back towards you. So the toes are extremely active and peeling back. And then I want you to go the opposite direction. So point the toes like you're a ballet dancer. Hold it for breath. Peel the back. Oh, I think we have a joiner. So excuse me for just a moment. So again, peel those toes back. Point the toes. Peel them back. And point one last time. Sitting up nice and straight. Peel those toes back. Bring your hands on opposite sides of your legs. Gently walk the hands forward. Coming into a slight forward fold. Feeling the hamstrings begin to activate. Hello, hamstrings. Nice deep breathing here. Providing lots of oxygen to our body. And you can walk your hands back to your side. You can keep your fingertips down on either side of you on your mat. We'll rock back onto the tailbone. No, Luigi, that was not an invite to sit on me. Bring your shins parallel to the ground, coming into boat. Really engage the abdominal core. Toes are actively peeling back toward you. If you can, see if you can pick up your hands. Arms are coming straight forward. Fingertips are energetic. Holding for a few breaths. Big work here. Feel your chest coming forward. Abdomen is engaged. I'm fighting with my cat. He wants to sit on me. Exhale and release. Your feet can come down to the mat. Yuji, go have a nap somewhere, okay? Hun, can you please come get the cat? Sorry, everyone. So you can bring your legs around the side. We're going to come onto our hands and knees. Oh. Yeah, just walk in the video. It's fine. Thank you. All right. Hopefully Lucy will let us get on with our practice. My apologies. Coming onto hands and knees. Wrists are directly below your shoulders. Knees are directly below your hips. We'll start with some cat and cow. So for cow, lower your belly. Raise the head up. Hips come up. Maybe you just let your neck get long and look forward, or maybe you have a bit more mobility. Maybe you can really look up. On the exhale, you're going to do the exact opposite. So lower the head, push up through the shoulder blades, lower the hips, rounding through the upper spine. Inhale, belly comes down, head comes up. Exhale, reverse the motion, pushing up between the shoulder blades. Inhale, come through cow. Exhale, coming through cat. Take 3 more rounds with your own breath. Nice and slow, noticing how the motion feels in your spine. If you like, you can wiggle your hips a little bit. Add in some lateral motion. You could bring your toes over to the right and look back over your right shoulder. Maybe bring them to the left, just look over the left shoulder. And come back to your neutral tabletop position. So we're all meeting up here. Bring your knees as far apart on your mat as you can. The toes come together. Sit your hips back on your heels and lower your forehead down. So your fingertips are out in front of you. Your arms are straight out in front of you. Your fingertips are on the mat. You can bring your forehead down. Take a breath. If you can, tent up onto your fingers. Walk your fingertips over to the right. You can keep both hands over to the right, or maybe you can take your right hand back, open through the left side of your body. Get a little deeper into this side bend. And then if your hands are anywhere else, bring them back up overhead. Right at center. So fingertips are at center. Again, tent up onto the fingertips. Walk them over to the left corner of your mat. You can both stay up there, or if you'd like, you can bring the left fingertips back by your left hip. Opening the right side of your body. And then if your fingertips are over at the left corner, walk them back to center. You can come up off of your hips, coming back into our tabletop position again. We're going to rotate our fingertips out in an outward motion so that our fingertips are pointing back towards our body. So rotate each of your hands out and around. Your fingertips are pointing back towards your body. Bring your hips back towards your heels just slightly and start to feel a stretch through the wrist and lower arms, the carpal tunnel area. You don't have to go far with this, it's just a slight movement that brings quite a deep stretch. Come back up to neutral table. Bring your hands back into the regular position. Turn your toes under. Again, sit the hips back toward your heels. You can back your hands up. Maybe you're feeling quite a lot of sensation in your feet here. You can just keep your fingertips down on the mat. Or if you'd like a bigger stretch, you can bring your fingertips to your thighs. And maybe sit upright over your heels. Big stretch here. If you come into that and you're like, I don't need quite that much, you could bring your fingertips down to the mat again. One more big breath. Exhale, walk the hands forward again. And just gently tap the tops of your feet against the mat, releasing that. We'll prepare to come through downward facing dog. If that's not something you want in your practice this morning, you could stay in table, maybe take an extra cat and cow. If you'd like to come through downward dog, turn your toes under, push the hips up and back, huddling out the legs once you come up, making sure those hands are nice and strong. Fingers are energetically pushing down into the mat. Pedaling the legs one at a time. Again, saying a big hello to those hamstrings. When you pedal them out a few times, just come to center. Focus on how your shoulders are feeling. Your arms should be really energetic right from your shoulders. Take one more deep breath. On your exhale, bend your knees deeply. Slowly walk your feet toward the top of the mat. If you're coming from table, bring your feet under you and come to stand and then meet us in a forward fold. So our knees are gently bent. Your torso is going to hang down over your legs. Fingertips can come down to the mat. Or if you prefer, you can cradle one arm in the other. Nice deep breath. And then you can begin swaying back and forth, just finding some gentle motion here. Blowing in the breeze like a rag doll. Maybe you can even add a little bounce into that. When you're feeling good, bring your fingertips back down to the mat. Slowly, slowly, slowly begin to come up to stand. See if you can roll up one vertebra at a time, noticing how that feels in your spine. Coming all the way up to stand at the top of your mat. So abdomen is engaged, chest is broad, shoulders are down away from your ears, hands can rest at your side. Inhale, bring your arms up overhead, palms come to touch. You can look up at them. Exhale, forward fold, coming all the way down, fingertips come down to the mat. Leave a gentle bend in your knees. Inhale, hands come to shins, come halfway up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, hands come to shins. Again, come halfway up. Forward fold. One more time. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, forward fold. This time we're going to bring the hands down to the mat. Step your feet all the way to the back of your mat. And then lower your knees down onto the mat. So you're making a nice long diagonal line from your shoulders all the way back to your knees. Engage the core. Squeeze your bum in a little bit. Take a big inhale here. As slowly as you can. Exhale, lower. See if you can bring the the thighs down, and hips, and the belly, and finally the chest and head. I'm not going to lower my head all the way down just so you can hear me better. Inhale, bring the chest up, neck up, and head up for cobra. Exhale, relax everything down. Inhale. Again, rise for cobra. Exhale, coming down. Inhale, up to cobra. Maybe this time you can just come onto your fingertips. No pressure in the hands. Totally rising from the abdomen. And exhale, forehead can come down. Bring your hands back down by your hips. So the backs of your hands are pressing into the mat. Forehead is resting on the mat. Going to come into locust. Inhale, head, neck, chest rise. Exhale, bring the arms and legs up to meet them. Lifting from the lower spine. Work those back muscles. Fingers are energetic. One more big breath. Exhale. Everything can release down to the mat. Bring your hands up underneath your forehead. Lower your forehead down. Bend at the knees. And then gently windshield wiper the legs back and forth. Just allowing the lower back to relax. Again, you can lower your feet down to the mat. So you're getting nice and long on the mat. Forehead comes down to the mat. Hands are going to come back by your hips again. Inhale, head, neck, and chest come up. Exhale, everything else lifts up off the mat. Like you're a superhero flying through the air. Fingertips are energetic. Toes are pointed. One more big breath. Lift. Exhale. Relax everything down. Again, hands can come under your forehead. Bend at the knees. Gently windshield wiper the legs back and forth. And relax the legs down. Push into your hands. Bring the hips back onto the heels. So we're coming back to child's pose. Rounding the lower spine for just a moment. And come back up onto hands and knees. Again, you could come up to standing by getting onto your feet from here, or if you like, come up into downward dog. Stay for a breath. And then slowly walk your toes towards your hands at the front of the mat and come up to stand. If you have a block and you would like to use it for this, you can grab a block or even 2 blocks. Turn sideways on your mat and place the blocks in front of you. We're going to come into a wide-legged forward fold. So get your feet as far apart comfortably as you can manage. Really pushing into the outsides of your feet so your feet are really firmly planted. You can bring your hands to your hips. Inhale to get tall. Exhale, bending at the hips, lowering your torso down. Fingertips can come down onto your blocks or onto the mat. Legs can have a tiny little gentle bend in them. Coming into this nice forward fold, big intense stretch. So keep that breath moving. One more big breath. Come halfway up, so you could come onto your fingertips on the blocks. Take an inhale. Exhale, lower back down into that forward fold. See if you can come a little deeper into it. Keep the breath moving. And wherever you are, come onto your fingertips again. And then gently, slowly roll up to stand again. We're going to pivot both of our feet toward the left. So I'm mirroring you. So both sets of toes are going to come around to the left. You can adjust your feet so that you have a narrow hip width distance between your back foot and your right foot. So it's almost like you're about to go cross-country skiing. Your hips are squared with the back of your mat. Your hands can come onto your hips. Inhale to get tall. Exhale, begin to hinge at the hips and come forward. Your front leg is mostly straight. Maybe you leave a little bend in it. Allow your torso to come forward. You could bring your hands down onto your thigh or onto your shin or even down onto the floor. If at any point this feels like you've taken on too much, put a little more bend in that front leg. After your next exhale, put a little more bend in that leg and then roll up to stand. We're gonna switch to the other side now. So rotate your feet, coming through center, and then we're rotating them to the other side. Again, set up so that you have narrow hip width distance between your 2 feet, so they're on 2 separate tracks. Standing nice and tall, so your right foot should be out fairways in front of you. Inhale up, exhale, hinge at the hips, coming forward. You can bring the hands onto the thigh, and remember, you can leave a little bend in the knee. Or you could bring your hands a little further down, maybe down the shin, or even down to the mat. Breathe deep no matter where you are. One more breath. Put more bend into that front knee. Slowly bring yourself back up to a standing position. And we'll bring our feet back to center. Bring our hips in for a narrow hip width distance. We're going to come into a balancing pose now. So if you know you want the assistance of some furniture or a wall, you can go there now and get yourself set up. We're going to do a little variation on tree today. So Feet are narrow, hip width apart. Core is engaged, shoulders are down, away. You can bring your hands onto your hips. Fix your gaze on a non-moving object 2 or 3 meters away from you. Just allow your gaze to softly rest there. And transfer the weight over your left foot. Find the sweet spot. Inhale, the right knee comes up. I want you to hold it here. If you like, you could grab a hold of your thigh, maybe even interlace your fingers under the thigh. Bring it up a little bit more. Maybe you're doing this with one hand because you're using the wall or a piece of furniture. Still squeezing that leg upward. Letting the breath flow. One more breath. Try and extend the leg a little bit forward, straighten it out a little, and then slowly with control, bring it all the way down to the mat. Good. Release your standing leg, just shake it out a little bit. Get that blood flow going again. This time we'll be standing on the right leg, bringing up the left. So transfer your weight over the left leg. Again, hands can come to your hips. Find your gaze, just resting on that point. Inhale. The leg comes up. Holding it here. Maybe you can bring your one hand under your thigh, or maybe you can intertwine your fingers under your thigh. Standing nice and tall. Squeeze the free leg upwards. On your next breath, straighten that leg, maybe just slightly, or maybe you can really bring that foot forwards. Exhale, release your hands from under the thigh. Slowly exhale that foot back down to the mat. Good work. Shake out your standing leg. Get some blood flow going. We're going to come down into squat. So if you know that you prefer to do that on your seat or on a block, get yourself set up now. If you're coming from standing, feet are wider than hip width apart. Toes are pointing out on a 45-degree angle. You bring your hands to heart center or onto your hips, your choice. Inhale, think about getting tall. Exhale, slowly lower down. Or if you're already on your seat, you bring your elbows to the insides of your knees and encourage them outwards. Wherever you are, try and come into sensation. Your hips are opening.
Can you come get your cat?
Gonna stay for a few more breaths.
Thinking about getting in and now she's scratching. She's
Carrie, your mic's still on, just so you know. Couple more breaths. Just allow yourself to sit with the sensation. If you become distracted, just focus back in on that breath. Exhale and slowly release. So wherever you are, hands come out, Elbows come out from the insides of your knees. You could be sitting on a block or sitting on the floor, wherever you are. Bring your bottom down entirely. Feet are planted in front of you. Hands can rest beside you on the mat, and gently windshield wiper your knees back and forth. That was a big hip opener. Coming up to sit. Your feet are planted on the mat in front of you. Get nice and tall. Bring your torso forward onto your thighs. You can wrap your arms underneath your thighs. Bring your head down. Maybe you can even rest your head on your legs. Big, deep bend in the knees, just coming into a very restorative forward fold. If you'd like to come a little deeper into the sensation, you could unwrap your arms from underneath your thighs and straighten your legs in front of you. Walk your hands down the lengths of your legs. Bend a little deeper. Make sure those toes are very active and peeling back towards you. Coming into a deeper forward fold. And inhale, walk your hands back. Gently come up to sit. If you're seated sideways on your mat like I am, bring your body so that you're on the length of your mat. So your knees are bent, your feet are planted on the mat. Bring your arms up, and I want you to gently try and lower yourself down onto your back as slowly as you can. Finding some good control here. So slowly lowering, the abdominals are engaging. Slowly, slowly lower down. Ooh, and then finally come back down onto your mat. It's always a tough one. You get about 2/3 of the way there, and then it's hard to control it. So your feet are going to be planted on the mat just under your bum. They're narrow hip width apart. Your hands are going to come to rest on the mat beside your hips. We're going to come into bridge. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, push your hips up toward the ceiling. Really strong in those feet. Send those hips a little higher with each exhale. Breathe deep. And on your exhale, slowly lower your hips down to the mat. Windshield wiper those knees back and forth. Bring the knees back upright. We're going to do one more round of bridge. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, push the hips up to the sky. Breathing deep. Hands and feet are pushing powerfully into the mat. One more breath. Exhale, release, hips come down to the mat, and the legs can windshield wiper back and forth. Release all that work. Staying on your back, you're going to cross your right leg over your left leg at your right ankle. So you're basically making your leg into a figure 4. So your right ankle is across your left knee. We're coming into pigeon. So you may find that you just want to use your right hand and encourage your right knee out away from your body. Make sure your right toes are peeling back and that foot is really active. If you'd like to take on a bit more sensation, you could hug your left thigh toward you. So reaching around the back of the left thigh or even using a strap around the back of the left thigh, bring the left thigh closer to your body. The left foot can completely relax. It has nothing to do. But that right foot, those toes are active and peeling back. As you're squeezing the left thigh in, the right knee, you're encouraging it outward. Again, this can bring a lot of sensation. Allow yourself to breathe into that sensation. If you become distracted, just focus back in on your breath. Two more breaths. When you finished your second breath, if your hand is clasped around your thigh, release the thigh. Bring the left foot down to the mat. Uncross the right leg and set up for the other side. So left leg crosses over the right knee, right at the ankle, making that figure four. Left knee is really encouraging, going outward. So if you can use your fingers or your hand to encourage that knee outward, that's great. Left toes are really active, peeling back toward the kneecap. You can stay here if this is feeling good. Or again, you could squeeze your right thigh toward your torso, taking a hold behind the right thigh with a strap, or even intertwining your fingers, squeezing that right thigh in, pushing the left knee outwards and keeping the left toes active. Your right lower leg and toes can totally relax. Two more breaths here. On your exhale, if you've clasped your leg, you can release and then uncross your left leg. Bring your arms out into a T position beside you. You could just bring your knees together, or if you prefer, you can cross your right leg over your left with no gap between your thighs. Slightly shuffle your hips just to the right, just a very small movement, and then lower your legs all the way over to the left, coming into a supine spinal twist. Make sure both shoulder blades are firmly plugged down into the mat. If this is feeling good and you like to maybe explore taking on more, you could turn your head to look over your right shoulder. You might even bring your left hand onto the right knee and maybe encourage the twist a little bit more. The last breath. Wherever you are, make sure your arms come back to a T. Your head is turned, bring it back to center. Slowly bring the legs up and uncross them. So again, your choice. You could bring the knees together, or you could cross the left leg over the right, no gap between the thighs. Slightly move the hips over to the left, and then lower the knees all the way over to the right. Both shoulder blades should stay firmly on the mat. Again, if you'd like to take it a little deeper, you could look over your left shoulder. Maybe even bringing the right hand onto the left knee and just encouraging the twist to get a little deeper. Maybe you can feel a stretch to the outside of your hip. Last breath. Gently bring your legs back upright. Your head, if it's anywhere else, comes back to center. Arms can relax down by your side. Uncross the legs if they were crossed. We'll squeeze our knees into our chest, bringing the right knee toward the right armpit, left knee towards the left armpit. Maybe you start rolling on your lower back here, getting a little back massage. Or you could bring your hands around the outsides of your feet. So if you go on the insides of your knees with your arms, you should be able to reach around the outsides of your feet, coming into happy baby. Give yourself a little back massage here. If there's any last movements you would like to take, you can go ahead with those now. So maybe you'd like to stretch your legs out a little bit. Maybe you'd like to just take a full body stretch and get long on your mat. When you're done, bring yourself into Shavasana. So maybe you're just stretched out on your mat. Perhaps you bend your knees, plant your feet on the mat quite a ways apart, and then let the knees rest on each other. Wherever you are, take a few deep breaths. Let it all go. Let effort go. Let tension go. Let yourself melt down into your mat. You've finished your hard work. You've done such good things for yourself. Now is your time to take some rest. You can let your practice breath go and just allow yourself to breathe easily through your nose. We'll stay here for a few moments, and I'll let you know when it's time to come back. Enjoy your rest. you can begin bringing your attention back into your body, taking a moment to notice how you feel. Quickly scanning over your body, toes, knees, hips, your spine, your shoulder blades, and your face, all the way to the crown of your head. If you like, you can stay exactly as you are. Take a few more moments and rest. Or you could gently roll over onto your right side and bring yourself up to a seated position. No matter where you are, allow yourself to remain relaxed. 3 things you can't recover in life: the word after it's said, the moment after it's missed, and the time after it's gone. Thank you for joining me for practice today. Namaste. So I'll be ending the recording now. And if you'd like to stay in chat, stay in chat. If you have any questions or things you'd like to talk about, or you can stay in Shavasana and just rest until you feel like getting up. Okay.